Alright, we had two questions that have come up on the homework assignment, and so what I want to do is I'll answer those here. So first things first is this problem itself here. So problem 1, problem 2 here. So we have find two numbers whose sum is 42 and whose product is 245. And so since we're talking about numbers, what we really want to do is just say, look, this is going to be x. We're going to define our variables. So x is equal to one number. And then you have y is equal to another number. What you can also do is you can say first number, second number. That's fine. All right, then we're going to set up our equations here. Our equations are, since the sum equation is the addition equation, x plus y equals 42. That's the sum. Then we have the product, which is x times y is equal to 245. Okay, so we're going to make sense of these two variables in these two equations here. And so we have to substitute one into the other. And so the best thing I'm thinking is we're going to take this equation, we're going to solve it for one of the variables. Doesn't matter, solve for x, solve for y, it wouldn't matter. And so we're going to solve it like this. So 42 minus x, that's going to be our equation. We're going to substitute that y value as 42 minus x. All right. With that said, we're going to distribute the x. 42x minus x squared is equal to 245. And then what I'm going to do is we're going to set it equal to 0. Set it equal to 0. Maybe the best way to do it is just to move the 245 over here. So now it becomes 42x minus x squared minus 245. Ooh, not good looking here. So I want to set it up in standard form. Standard form means the x squared goes first, then the x, then the 245, and of course I'm doing it a little bit of the long way just to show you a few things here. We do not like to factor when there's a negative in front. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply both sides by a -1. We get ourselves x squared minus 42x plus 245. We got what we want. We have the x squared positive. And 0 times -1 still 0. That's cool. Then we move on to factoring. Factoring here, going down, and we say to ourselves, well, actually a few little things here. First, the end product is positive, but the summation is -42. So we're going to do this here. We're going to say that both products have to be negative. So what two numbers multiply to give you a positive 245, but added together give you -42? I'm going to say 35 and 7. Let me just check here. 35 times 7. That's going to be 35. 7 times 5 is 35. Okay. That's going to be 20, 21, 22, 21, 22, 23, 24. That is perfect. There it is. We got our numbers. That works. So then we set each of them equal to 0. And we get our answer. X equals 35 and x equals 7. Now notice we can accept both answers. They're both answers that will fit the original problem. So we can just say 35 and 7 would be just fine. You could say 7 and 35. Either way you put it, unless otherwise stated by the instructions. Usually, and normally in mathematics, we do 7 and 35. Usually we write the smaller number first, and then the higher number, just so there's some kind of order to it. All right, next problem. Problem 2. A manufacturing firm wants to package its product into a cylinder container 2 feet high with surface area 6 pi feet squared. What should the radius of the circular top and bottom be? Okay, so let's go for it here. First of all, since it's a geometry problem, I could probably draw it out a little bit here. We have a cylinder container. The height has to be 2 feet, so we're in feet. And surface area. Now, surface area in mathematics is how much almost like outside metal you need. So you have the outside, the curved part right here, And usually, and surface area also includes the top as well as the bottom, unless you know it's an open container. But usually, if we're talking about container, it's closed. So let's go for it here. So we need to figure out a surface area formula. Surface area formula is, well, for this region here that's coming across, that's going to be 2 pi r h. But then you also have the top, and then you also have the bottom, and those are circles, so those are just pi r squared. So really, your surface area formula is 2 pi r h plus 2 circles, one top, one bottom. There's your surface area. All right, we know that the surface area is 6 pi. And then we also know that the height of this whole thing is 2. So if we put that all together, we have this. Even better yet, we have in simplified form this right here. And there is a little trick to this. So notice there's a pi in each of those terms, and notice also there's even numbers in each of the terms. So the trick here is you just divide everything by 2 pi. 2 pi, 2 pi, 2 pi. So this becomes 3. This becomes 2, and this is just r squared. Moving things over. And running out of space here, so I'm going to go over here. And switching it around, so I like it the way it reads here. So like this. Okay, so let's go for it here. Let's factor this down. This would be, let's see, a positive 3 and a negative 1. That's the way you would do it to factor it down. So then when you solve it, you get r is equal to negative 3. You get r is equal to 1, and we have to reject this because this cannot be a radius. A radius has to be some kind of positive number. So the answer to this is 1. Now in terms of units, we know the radius has to be 1 foot, since we're talking about feet here. So there's the answers to the two problems.